Good morning and welcome to this week's edition of NCompass Live. I am your host, Krista Burns, here at the Nebraska Library Commission. NCompass Live is the Commission's weekly online event where we cover any activities or topics that might be of interest to Nebraska librarians. We do these sessions every Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. Central Time live, and they are all recorded, so if you're unable to attend one of our live sessions, that's okay. You can watch all of the 2.5 some odd years worth, I'm not even sure now, of recordings that we have out there. We do have guest speakers that come in, and we have commission staff that do our presentations, and today we have 2 commission staff people sharing a session for us this morning. Laura Johnson, sitting right next to me, and Kathryn Brockmeier, who's kind of hiding off the camera for a moment, are here to talk about some grants and scholarships that you can get in Nebraska to help you advance your education or just do any sort of professional development that you might want. And we're going to start off with Laura. Yeah,
Hi. We wanted to talk about the major programs we have for supporting education. The Nebraska Library Commission does think that supporting professional education is important, and we do that in a couple of ways. We bundled these actually because they kind of look similar from the outside, and we didn't want people to get confused. So we thought if we bundled them, maybe we're wrong, but we're going to hope that this makes this less confusing. First, I'm going to talk about the continuing education and training grants, and then Kathryn's going to talk about our scholarship program. This is a little bit, we have had grants for a long time. CET grants have been every year, but this year I thought I would try something a little bit new. And so the purpose of the grants is to improve library service by helping to improve the professional skills of library staffers through continuing education and training. So we do always want to connect these grants to the service that is provided to library users in Nebraska. There are 3 types of awards, and this is one of the new things. We've had continuing education and training grants, and one of the things that people have used it for a lot is to go to conferences. They've gotten a grant to help pay for the expenses of going to a conference. And really, the application process was probably a little bit elaborate for that. So I thought, why not streamline it? And then the other type of award, well, let's go and see what they are. I've used my little autumnal colors today, so I thought we would be very, with it. So there's 3 kinds. You can take an online course, and you can get a grant for that. You can get a grant to attend an out-of-state professional conference, or you can get a grant to carry out a project. And what do these things really mean? Well, to take a course, the grant is to the individual. It used to be that all of our grants were actually to libraries, but now the grant is to an individual. However, that individual has to be a public library staffer from an accredited public library in Nebraska. The course, if you want to take a course, an online course, it needs to be a library-related course or directly job-related. So, for instance, if you wanted to take bookkeeping because that's one of the things that you did in your library, that would be directly job-related. We're talking about continuing education courses, so we're not talking about courses that lead to a degree. If you're talking about courses that lead to a degree, then we need to talk about scholarships, and Kathryn will talk about that in a few minutes. They're paid on a reimbursement basis, and it's a 100% reimbursement for a successfully completed course. So that's a change. And then the applications are reviewed monthly. So instead of having one time when you can apply all year, we're going to say that you can apply every month to take a course. Now, who are the course providers? What kind of courses are we talking about? Well, the American Library Association has a lot of online courses, and the tuition ranges from about $75 to, $300 or so. As far as I know, because I've had limited experience with these because they cost a lot, they're quite good, and they sounded as if they were things that people might really like to take. So we thought if we helped pay for them, maybe a lot more people would like them. So American Library Association is one of the people that provides courses. LEAD, which is the University of North Texas, also provides courses. These are quite inexpensive. I think they're $25 or $35. But they're good courses, and we thought you might like to take some of them. There's also courses from InfoPeople, Web Junction. There's lots of providers of courses, but I thought I'd just give you a couple of examples. Then the next one of the three we've had taking a course. Now we're going to talk about attending a conference. Again, the grant is to the individual, not to the library. It is for professional conferences out of state, and we do that really because we feel that NLA is one of those basic things that people need to handle on their own. Also, if we paid for people to go to NLA, we pretty soon would be paying. Where do we stop? How do we choose who we pay for? So we just don't handle NLA. And this does need to be a library-related event. It's for one individual from a library per event, and we ask for a 10% match. The grants have in the past, and our other grants ask for a 25% match. So this is only 10%, and what we do then is you cover your expenses, and then when you report them to us, we reimburse you 90% of what you've spent. The attendees must report via the NCompass Live. We have had a couple of programs in the past that I thought were very successful, where people talked about their experiences at conferences, and we hope that this is one of the things we can do to help kind of spread the wealth around, is to get people to report. Again, the applications will be reviewed monthly, so there's not just once a year when you can apply. You can apply all year. What are some conferences that you might want to go to? Well, the Public Library Association meeting is in Philadelphia this year in March, is it?
In March.
Yeah. Computers in Libraries is in Washington, D.C., and it's also in March, isn't it?
Probably.
Yeah.
March or April.
Yeah.
It varies
It's in
between March
spring.
and April, yeah.
So there's a couple of conferences that you might be interested in. There are others, any conference that is really library related.
Internet Librarian is next week, but it's too late for that
But
one.
it's too late
You
for
can think
that
about it for
one.
next
Yes,
fall.
for next fall.
Internet Librarian is in Monterey, California. So
ALA is going to be in
California.
Anaheim, yeah. The Association of Rural and Small Libraries. There's a lot of conferences that you might want to look at. They do have to be domestic. I'm sorry. We can't handle international conferences.
Yeah, the Association of Small Rural Libraries, I think, is a good one that I don't think enough people take advantage of.
Yeah.
Because everybody thinks about the ALAs and the big ones in PLA, but that is specific to a lot of the kind of libraries we have right here in Nebraska.
Yeah.
You should look into that. Yeah.
It's going to be, I think, in Raleigh next year. So.
Yeah, it varies all over the place.
Yeah, they move all over the country. So, then the third kind, because we've talked about taking an online course, we've talked about attending a conference, the third thing is carrying out a project. Who's eligible for this grant? This one is to libraries. And it's either accredited public libraries, identified institutional libraries, there's actually a list on our website of them, the Nebraska Regional Library Systems, or other organizations that are partnered with an eligible entity can apply for this grant. This grant does require a 25% match, and of that 25% match, 10% of the match, or rather 10% match, is cash. So it's not 10% of the 25%, it's 25% and 10% is cash. The grant is to the entity, not the individual, and there is a written report on the project then that we need after the project is completed. Examples of projects that we've paid for in the past. Microsoft Office training for a library staff, the NLA NEMA pre-conference with Karen Hyman, the Branding Your Library workshops that were around the state, the Michael Sullivan Connecting Boys with Books and his Breaking All the Rules. Those were all projects that were funded by continuing education and training grants. Whatever you can think of. If it's a grant that you think will improve library service, we want to hear about it. This is where the grant information is going to be. The forms will be up within a couple of days, I hope. Okay, I plan. We're going to get those forms up, but they are not there right now. But you can get them at the Continuing Education and Training Grants. There are separate kinds of applications for all three grants, so be sure you've got the right kind of application. And that's kind of it as far as the Continuing Education and Training Grants. Were there any questions?
Let's see. Anybody have any questions for Laura about those grants?
That went very fast.
Doesn't look like anything's coming in right now. If you think of anything later as we're continuing, feel free to type them in. Like I said, I'm monitoring everything right here, so we can take your questions at any time.
Okay, and now Kathryn's going to talk about the scholarship.
Okay, fire drill.
Yes.
Here we go.
There we go. Yes. All right. Ah. There you go.
Okay. Good morning. My name is Kathryn Brockmeier. I'm the Grant Program Manager for the Laura Bush 21st Century Librarian Project. And this project is funded by the Institute of Museum and Library Services, our federal agency that provides monies to state libraries. We were awarded a grant. We heard about it last July.
It started in...
And then the fiscal year started November 1st.
Yeah.
So we launched the program November 1st of last year, and so we're just wrapping up our first year of programming through this grant that we received from IMLS. We received funding for scholarships to individuals and also to be able to provide internship grants to public libraries. We are partnering in this project with Central Community College. The name of our project is Cultivating Rural Nebraskans' 21st Century Skills. And although it does have the word rural in there, we do have an emphasis because so many of our libraries are rural, and we would like to educate as many, provide scholarships to help rural librarians and future rural librarians attain their education. All Nebraskans are eligible for the scholarship. I'll need the mouse probably to surf the web.
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
All right, yep.
Okay. So what we said in our grant was that the Nebraska Library Commission will cultivate rural librarians' 21st century skills through scholarships, internships, and stipends to support pre-professional and professional education for at least 165 students. One reason why the Central Community College is one of our partners is that the majority of the funding that we received from IMLS was to support the LIS certificate and associate's degree level of education, and the program that is recognized here in Nebraska is through the Central Community College. We'll talk a little bit more about the types of scholarships that we offer here in just a moment. And so what are we looking for? Why did we apply for this grant? We are looking for well-trained personnel in Nebraska libraries who are capable of meeting the information needs of the residents. And the best way that we felt that we could achieve this was by providing scholarships to students who are pursuing a certificate or degree in a library science at all levels, and at wherever they meet them where they are on their career ladder. Perhaps they don't have a job yet in a library, or perhaps they are already working in a library, and then perhaps they find that what best suits their needs is to receive the certificate through a community college, which is typically, at least through Central Community Colleges, 6 courses plus a practicum. Perhaps they would like to get their associate's degree with a concentration in library science. They might be pursuing their undergraduate. They would like to get their bachelor's degree. Also with the associates, a lot of times that is a gateway to continuing on to working toward your bachelor's. That's pretty common.
Yeah.
It feeds in. And the institutions in Nebraska that provide undergraduate degrees in library science are the University of Nebraska Omaha and then Chadron State College. And I think they also provide endorsements for educational endorsements as well. At the master's level, there is, of course, the Master's in Library Science, and then there is your degree in education with an endorsement in library media or school librarian. And the programs that offer that are the University of Nebraska Kearney for the education endorsement and education masters with an endorsement, and the University of Missouri, who partners with the University of Nebraska Omaha to provide Masters of Library Science and then also the Masters in Education with an endorsement in library media. The Library Services and Technology Act Plan of the Nebraska Library Commission states that all Nebraskans will have improved access to enhanced library and information services, provided and facilitated by qualified library personnel, boards, and supporters with the knowledge, skills, abilities, and attitudes necessary to provide excellent library and information services. That's a mouthful, but let's break that down for a moment here. We want to meet this need. This is our vision, our mission. And so for us to improve access for Nebraskans, we need to have qualified library personnel, boards, and supporters. And how can we do that? We can help increase through the grants that Laura talked about, continuing education, yes, through those avenues. And so that helps us toward working toward this mission. And then the scholarships and the scholarship program not only helps our scholarship students go to school, but we are also providing enhanced learning opportunities and stipends, which we'll talk about, which enhance their skills, abilities, and attitudes, with the ultimate goal to provide excellent library and information services. So what we said in our grant application was that Nebraska librarians who assume the role of community leaders and keep up with technology can position their libraries to assure that their services remain vital to their communities. And we believe that library staff at all levels can become the community leaders, whether they are working at the desk, whether they're working in administration, whether they're working in a school library, whether they are a library director. There are so many different hats that librarians can wear, and in each of those positions you can become a community leader, and we want to help our scholarship students become confident in that role.
This is one of the things that Jamie LaRue was talking about in the keynote address at NLA NEMA. Librarians taking a real role in community affairs.
Yes, absolutely. That's right. And to assume that leadership position.
Yeah.
So, and the classes that I've taken through the University of Missouri, I took a library and leadership class, and I thought it was quite excellent. And I believe that most classes at some point in time address taking a leadership role, owning what you know, and sharing your knowledge with your community. One of the things that we did mention in our grant application was that we were citing the Libraries Connect Communities Public Library Funding and Technology Access Study, which was published by the ALA, I believe. And that is that staffing levels aren't keeping pace with patron demand, and those librarians who are already working out there understand this, both for those staff who provide training and other direct patron services, as well as for those staff who maintain the information technology infrastructure. Libraries cite the need for greater staff expertise and availability as a barrier to being able to support and manage public access technologies. So this is where the 21st century, when we talk about 21st century skills, being able to provide good service to your patrons means that we have to ourselves possess the 21st century skills, particularly in technology and Web 2.0 tools, social networking, understanding how networking a computer system can happen, understanding, trying to stay ahead of the curve so that when you have a guest who comes into your library and they bring to you an issue with an ebook, that we are hoping to equip our Nebraska librarians and future librarians with the skills that they are going to be able to not necessarily always have the direct knowledge how to handle it, but that they have the confidence to be able to work through it and help their patrons. In our grant application, we stated 3 goals, and we do not believe that these are too lofty. We believe that we will be able to reach these goals in the time that we have allotted ourselves for this grant. The first is to increase education levels of current library staff and new recruits in rural Nebraska. So let's start with increased education levels. This is where we believe that providing scholarships will help our students go faster, get through faster through school, because they will be able to take more classes, or that they will consider pursuing an education where they otherwise would not have considered it. I had the good fortune to speak with some potential scholarship recipients. They were considering applying for scholarships, and they came from all walks of life. But the biggest thing for them was understanding that with this money available, they felt like they could make the leap. They felt that they could pursue an education in library science, knowing that they would have the monetary support, the financial support to do so. The next is to enhance and improve the technology competency and 21st century skills among program participants and among library staff in Nebraska libraries, improving library service delivery. And so not only do we want to provide funding for tuition, we would also like to provide opportunities for our students to improve their 21st century skills so that they might be better prepared to help patrons improve their 21st century skills. And not just among our scholarship recipients, but this is a goal to do this with our library staff, and this is where Laura contributes so much to our grant program, considering the hat that she wears, the position she's in.
Yes, we would like to see the scholarship recipients, who we assume for the most part are early in their careers. We'd like to see them get into the habit of continuing education. Mm-hmm. We think it's a lifelong, library science is certainly a lifelong learning kind of job. You have to keep up.
Absolutely. Absolutely, yes. There's always these new things coming out, the social networking, Web 2.0. None of this was around when I went to library school.
Right. And while the classes very often introduce Web 2.0 tools and talk about the role of technology in all facets of library science, we would like to provide a few extra, we would like to enhance that learning experience and give our scholarship students a leg up. And while we're doing it, we share it with all of our library staff in Nebraska.
We do have a question, actually.
Great.
Could either one of you, could you have Laura or Kathryn, talk briefly about how 21st century skills are broader than just technology?
Okay. Yes, I would be happy to address that right after we talk about the goals. That's a great idea. The third goal of our grant is to foster a supportive community among program participants and other Nebraska library staff, and we are doing that through a Facebook page, which I will introduce here in just a little bit. So let's go to our scholarship page, and this is a great segue into talking about our 21st century skills. I just want to share with you our introductory paragraph here. libraries in the 21st century need librarians with 21st century skills, and this program, scholarship program, will help you develop these skills. It supports you in your education and professional development with funds that may be used to purchase laptop computers, attend national professional conferences, and join professional associations. Let's hop over to talk about the 21st century skills here for just a moment. IMLS is embracing the 21st Century Skills Initiative, and this is talking about all sorts of literacy that we can provide services to our patrons to increase their literacy in various domains.
The schools are also moving with an information literacy program, and they're talking about information literacy skills. These are similar but not exactly the same.
One program that I've heard of through the school system is called Learning for Life. Mm-hmm. That didn't bring up. How do I search? This should bring up a PDF. Just a little slow to move. We're getting there. There should be a document, but basically what this talks about, right there, information, communications, and technology literacy, critical thinking, do you see the tool?
Is it the report? The 21st century skills at first look quite formal. They are ambitious goals, but they hope that the library users also help develop information literacy goals. They think that information literacy is becoming more and more critical to people, as you know, everything's on the web, and so they feel that it's important for the libraries to develop these skills so that they can help library users develop their own skills. And it is about critical thinking and problem solving. It's also about visual literacy, numerical literacy. You know, when you hear, there's nothing like statistics to be impressive, and yet you need to look at where they came from and how they were derived. Information literacy, you need to develop the skills to verify information, to know how to get to, you know, from the horse's mouth, so to speak. That kind of thing is what they're really talking about here. They want people to be able to find information on health. It's becoming such a critical area. So,
but in order to help your patrons, we ourselves need to be equipped with these skills. And so we are starting with our current staff and future staff to possess the skills in order to be able to transfer those skills to our public, to our users. Does that answer her question?
I don't know. Does it answer your question? I think that was the answer to the question about broader than just technology.
yes, they are.
Yes, he says yes.
Okay, great, great, great. It's a fascinating read. Highly recommend that you go through that document. And there are probably things that your library is already doing, and so you can check those off your list, which is great. So let's talk a little bit about the scholarship program. Let's talk about the eligibility. We have opened this up to Nebraska residents who are enrolled in a certificate or degree program with a concentration in library and information science or school library media at an accredited college or university, or a recognized college or university, as is in the community college level. They are beginning, ALA is beginning to provide a certificate program And I wonder if they are accrediting certain colleges that are offering that. But at this time, we do recognize Central Community Colleges offering a certificate and associate's degree in library and information services. And here are the levels at which you can apply. If you're going for your professional certificate, usually provided through a community college, the associate's degree, bachelor's degree, and then 3 levels at the three different divisions at the master's level. We had such an overwhelming response our first year from the master's level students that we had to suspend our scholarship application cycle for them until next year. We were going over our budget for the year, which is a wonderful problem to have. Unfortunate for our students at this time, but we will pick them up again in the spring. We want our students to go through as quickly as possible, so we ask that they don't skip more than 1 academic term. However, we understand there are circumstances, life circumstances. We don't have, the majority of our scholarship students are not going full-time, and they are not what you consider a traditional student. Our master's level students typically are not 22 years of age. Our associate's level students are typically not 19 years of age. So we do understand that our students wear many hats, and however, we do want to help them get through as quickly as possible, so we do ask that they try to stick with it every semester. We offer these 3 enhanced learning sessions. We require that they participate in 3 and report on them. We require that they join the Nebraska Library Commission's Facebook support network and actively participate. And of course, for evaluation purposes, we need our scholarship students to stick around long enough for us to find out how it went for them and what kind of an impact this program had on them. And then one thing that we do require is that they intend to, after they receive a degree or certificate, maintain or seek employment in a Nebraska library and try and stay employed in a library setting for at least 12 months. What is the Library Commission going to do? We are going to pay the scholarship. We are going to provide additional training opportunities. We're providing network opportunities. We're coordinating mentors to accompany students to conferences. I, for example, am a mentor to go to the Public Library Association conference in Philadelphia in March. And we already have 2 students have shown interest in attending the conference, and I'll talk about how they acquire a stipend to do that. We're also, another focus of our grant is to recruit for diversity. We find that the demographic landscape of Nebraska is changing, and we would like to see our workforce reflect that diversity. And so we are making special efforts to recruit to the profession and also market our scholarships. So we're paying for our students' tuition, course-related fees, and course-related materials, but we also wanted to provide stipends to enhance their learning experience. We understand that most of our scholarship students are taking classes online. In fact, the certificate is completely online. The program through the University of Missouri, many of those courses are online. And regardless, whatever class you're in, many of them are on Blackboard or some other simulated environment that where the information for your coursework is disseminated. We want to make sure that our scholarship students have the best equipment possible to be successful in their coursework. And so we are offering to our scholarship recipients, we offer a stipend up to $700 toward the purchase of a laptop. And most of our scholarship students so far have taken advantage of this and are very grateful. We've heard back from them. They love their laptops. They feel that they are more efficient with their work. They really appreciate being able to watch videos without hitches and glitches and hiccups. So far it's helping us. It's helping us reach our goal of equipping our students with the best tools possible. We also encourage student-level association dues in the Nebraska Library Association. Nebraska Educational Media Association or a regional or national library-related professional organization such as ALA, PLA, AASL, American Association of School Librarians, and various organizations such as that to help our students learn more about the profession and start to network with future colleagues from across the nation. And then we are offering stipends on a reimbursement basis as well for attendance at a library-related national or regional conference. So, for example, we just had someone attend the Library and Information Technology Association's conference in St. Louis.
Oh, Lita, yeah.
Lita.
Mm-hmm.
And we're sending a student up to Minneapolis at the end of this month, I believe, to the American Association of School Library. And what's really neat is that we have identified a school librarian who is attending this conference, and we'll be mentoring her. They are taking there's a bus that's going from Nebraska up to Minneapolis, and so I have introduced the two of them to each other, and they will be working together, looking at what different sessions that our student would like to attend. Hopefully this librarian will introduce her to other librarians and help her break the ice while she is at this conference. And so I'm really eager to hear back from them what their experience was like. Hopefully I'll learn something from it so that I will become a better mentor when I go to Philadelphia next March.
We have a question about the stipends here.
Okay.
He asked, so should we recommend to current students that they request this stipend funding instead of the C&E and training grants that you talked about? Because these are two different ways of getting money to do the same thing as far as attending the conferences.
As far as attending conferences, they are
out-of-state conferences. Yeah.
If you have to be a scholarship student, you have to have a scholarship in order to apply for these stipends.
For this one,
so
right,
this
okay.
is really a rather small pool of people. The CE grants are for people, anyone who works in a public library. Mm-hmm. So,
but if they're doing both, we have quite a sizable budget to provide stipends to our scholarship recipients. So if you have a scholarship recipient who's also an employee, if they're wanting to go to a conference, we would probably prefer that they apply for a stipend through the scholarship program to free up money for other Nebraska librarians to attend conference through the CE grants.
Yes.
And then we have the value-added learning experiences description. So I'm excited about providing money for tuition for these students. Of course, we write a check to your institution and your class is paid for. Hooray! But we're sending you to a conference, really? How exciting. Our scholarship recipients are thrilled to receive a computer, to attend a conference, to join an association. They understand that it's a much bigger world outside of the coursework, and it's a much bigger world outside of your library work. And we want to open that world up to our students. And beyond that, we are offering learning experiences through the way of training and social networking. And so we have each of our scholarship recipients participate in at least 3 pre-approved online or face-to-face training sessions and then report on their experiences. There are so many great trainings out there, and we do include the NCompass Live sessions as some of the pre-approved sessions. And then we are tomorrow offering an e-book and e-reader hands-on petting zoo training, of which we have 5 scholarship recipients and 7 current librarians who are going to attend. We opened it up first to the scholarship recipients, and within 3 days I had 5 of our scholarship recipients who happen to live near Lincoln that are able to make it to this training session. We opened it up to the general librarian network in Nebraska, and it was filled, I think, within 48 hours.
Oh yeah, there's a waiting list of at least 4 or 5 people as well who aren't even going to get in.
That's right.
So this is the first one they're doing too, so this is not the end.
This is the pilot.
Yes,
we have a very limited enrollment because that's about as much equipment as we have.
Yes.
Right.
Because we do want it to be hands-on.
Right. It's a lab. It's it's like a lab. You want a smaller group so that everyone has a chance to get their hands on the equipment. And this is a pilot project, and because we do have funding from our grant, we will be able to travel and go to various areas of the state. And so not only are we're going to offer this always first to our scholarship students who do live in different parts of Nebraska, and then once those slots are filled, then we open it up to our current library staff. Next summer, and Laura could talk about this for just a little bit, for a minute, because then I want to go to our Facebook page. We are offering a boot camp. Are we calling it a rodeo? Because I really like that, Laura.
I liked rodeo too. I don't really like boot camp very much.
It's a two-day training event.
A training event that we hope it is. We're going to talk about basic technology because you have to keep the computers working. Then we're going to talk about some of the new applications and some of the things that are coming along that are going to be very important in libraries. We will talk a little bit about the literacies and how to try to master many of those things yourself and how to help your library users with them.
So gaining the skill and then transferring
the skill, yes. Mm-hmm. And we hope that we will be offering a really good opportunity for people to network because, in some ways that's one of the really important skills. We can't all do it by ourselves anymore. You really have to have a cohort of people that you can rely on in different circumstances. So we're hoping that some of the things, including the Facebook page, which is really important to get people talking to one another, will help with this. So this is going to be next summer. We're kind of excited about it. We hope it's going to be fun, but we think it's going to be very worthwhile. So
yes, we're thrilled to have this opportunity. And not only is it for our scholarship recipients, if I understand correctly, this will be opened up to current library staff as well.
Just as we have with these the ebook trainings we're going to do, we'll open it up first to the scholarship people and then to current library staffers as well.
Right. So and it's all expenses paid for our scholarship students.
Yes.
We'll get them here. I'm not sure if we'll do it in Lincoln, but we'll get them to the location. We'll give them a place to stay. We'll feed them.
Yes.
Everything but the entertainment, probably.
And, who knows?
Who knows? We might provide entertainment.
Maybe we'll try some bronc riding. I don't know.
There we go. Let's go with the rodeo theme.
Yes.
Thanks, Laura. Okay. These are the amounts that we offer. At the undergraduate level, especially at the associate's level, if somebody could get through in 2 years or 3 years for the duration of this grant, we'd be able to get them through because they can apply for a second scholarship. Right now, the master's level is helping students get through about 2 classes, and then if they are able to apply for a second scholarship, it should get them through about another 2 classes, give or take. Because the scholarship funds also include books. So if there are any course-related materials that they would like to have funded, that is included in this amount. The stipends are a separate entity, and we award up to $2,000. We already have students who have used up their entire $2,000. They got a laptop and they're going to a conference, and we're happy to do that. We are absolutely happy to do that for them. The application process is online, with the exception of any transcripts that must be sent in directly from the schools and any letters of recommendation that are not scanned and uploaded at the time of the online application. So there are separate deadlines for anything that need to be mailed in, usually about a week and a half before the online application deadline, so that we have everything processed and in hand ready for our scholarship committee to review. This is what goes into the application. If anybody's at this session because they are interested in offering a scholarship program, this is completely transparent. We want you to be able to look at what we offer, and if you have any questions, feel free to contact me or Mary Jo Ryan, who is the grant project director, regarding what the impetus was for this program, what the logistics have been for this program, and let me tell you, there have been quite a few. It's been a learning process for all of us. We did offer scholarships through a grant in 2004, but in some ways I felt like we started all over again because times have changed. So there are lessons that have been learned, and if anyone needs to contact us about those lessons that have been learned, be happy to share that with you. All right, let's head over to Facebook. I want to show you the pride and joy of
the due dates for those forms. The October 21st is coming up.
Yes,
it's very quickly.
It's very
so
quickly.
That, yeah.
And if you just heard about this scholarship and you know that you want to have your letters of recommendation mailed in because they do need to have a signature, and you don't think you're going to make it by the October 21st deadline, or you're concerned about your transcripts not making it by the October 21st deadline, please contact me now, and we'll talk about how I'm going to watch for them so that we don't discount your application just because your hard copies didn't get here in time. Please remember, at the associate's level, the associate certificate level, and the bachelor's level, no transcripts are required.
Yeah, just so you know, that October 21st is not this from the date of when we're recording this live, in case you're listening to this on a recording, from today, October 12th, that's a week and a half from today is October 21st, not next Friday, but the Friday after that. So you got getting to this thread just now, yeah.
Okay, the purpose of this Facebook page is twofold. The immediate purpose of this is to provide a platform for scholarship students to report on their trainings and to receive updates regarding the scholarship program, what training opportunities there are, what conference opportunities there are, gentle reminders to complete their their enrollment forms every semester to let us, their notice of enrollment. So it's a communication tool for us to communicate with our scholarship recipients. But we are also attempting to foster a community between our future and our current Nebraska librarians. The Nebraska Library Commission does have a listserv that anyone is welcome to post to, and it has not served that. It has not served in that capacity.
No,
really. And I know there are other state library agencies that do have a listserv that's very actively used by librarians throughout the state. So our attempt in having the Nebraska Librarians Learning Together Facebook page is also a way for our current librarians to post their issues, their successes, their questions, and then ask for feedback and input from students and current librarians. It's a way for our students to hover, to lurk, and see what are the issues with our current staff. And so, for example, here's Tina. She's a scholarship recipient who went. She actually was at NLA, and then this is one of her posts for her training opportunity. Sherm, he's just sharing what's going on with his work. Kelly is she's our informal mentor who's going to AASL, and she's going to be mentoring another student. Emily was an intern through our intern program, our grants to libraries, and now she's interested in the library profession. Yeah. So she is posting a question, and here Kelly, wonderful that she did post some information. Robin is a librarian at Bellevue University, and she introduced herself on here. I had asked our scholarship recipients to come in and write a short bio about themselves and introduce themselves. Michael was posing a hot topic. If you're sitting at the reference desk and someone asks for information that could be used to harm themselves or others, what do you do? Now, the thing about Facebook is if an individual who's not an administrator of this page posts, it does not show up in all of the fans' feeds. The only posts that show up in the fans' feeds are the ones with this icon, with the Nebraska Librarians Learning Together profile picture. And so what I did, I reposted Michael's question with a link to the actual post. Someone actually just, instead of following to the post, they just responded right here. But what we're trying to do is start conversations. As you can see, there are topics where people responded to our posts. So we're starting to feel a sense of community here. And our scholarship recipients, I think, are really eager to make these connections. And so I have sent out through the listserv invitations to our current librarians to please join in on this community, and we've had just a great response. We have how many people who like this page? 154. Nice. So really, of course, all of our scholarship recipients are required to like this page. So that takes care of about 40 of them, but that means there are 110 individuals who are interested in communicating with each other and being there for their scholarships, for these scholarship students who they might be their future coworkers. You just don't know. And hopefully the people who are already working in libraries will post something of interest. And the next step then is for a scholarship recipient to see the post and show some interest in it and maybe find themselves a mentor. This is a wonderful, this could be a pivotal moment for one of our scholarship students. Or it could be a pivotal moment for a current library staff who sees what someone else posted and understands that it also applies to their work.
Well, and it's a great way, as we said, for librarians to share their expertise. If you have a question that you're not sure what to do with, you could post it here and see what other people said. If you have a technical problem, post it here, see what someone else says, and pretty soon everybody's learning a lot.
And a really great shortcut is facebook.com/Nebraska Librarians. And of course, we would love to have non-Nebraska librarians as well. If you want to lurk, if you want to participate, if you want to say these are the issues in Colorado, are Nebraska librarians seeing the same trend? We'd love to hear from you. That would be great.
Yeah, it's one thing I always say about anything that we do is a couple things. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. If you're having a problem, somebody else may have already figured it out. Ask and then use what they give you. Borrow their information. Borrow, steal, whatever. And you're not alone out there. Just because you're in a small library somewhere and you feel like you're all by yourself out in rural Nebraska somewhere, you're not. Now that we've got these kind of pages out there, you're not alone. All these people are there and will help you and keep you going.
Absolutely. So the last slide that I have is my contact information and Mary Jo Ryan's contact information. And of course, I should have added Laura's contact information in here. I didn't see yours on your slides, Laura.
I forgot that.
But everyone knows who you are, and it's really easy. It's laura.johnson@nebraska.gov.
They're a theme.
So pretty easy to figure out our address, our email addresses. Any other questions?
Any other questions from anybody? We do have a great job, Laura and Kathryn.
Woo, thank you. Thank you.
Anybody have any questions about Kathryn's presentation or earlier Laura's? Anything else you want to know?
You know, we just wrapped up our Nebraska Library Association, Nebraska Educational Media Association conference, the 2-day state conference with a day before that of pre-conferences. And it was, it didn't bring me to tears, but pretty darn close to talk with these scholarship recipients who gave these testimonials about what the funding for this has done for them, how they're able to go through faster than they normally would have, or that they've started because they had this extra motivation to do it. And the most popular thing right now is that Facebook page. They are really happy to be on.
All over it, yeah.
They're all over it.
And the Nebraska Library Commission is really happy that this is helping people. But that's what we're here for, to help support libraries to give their patrons better service. And we think that education is really one of the key things that will do it. So we have a couple different programs that we hope help people in different circumstances. And anytime you have any questions about them, we do have information on our website, or you can always just give us a call. We're glad to talk to people, and we hope that we'll get some great applications from folks.
If you didn't want to memorize the scholarships webpage, just go to nowhiringatyourlibrary.org. That'll take you to the front page of Now Hiring at Your Library, and then scholarships is on the left. So there you go. We're happy you were joining us today to learn about the opportunities that we are providing to Nebraska librarians and future Nebraska librarians.
So hope we'll be hearing from you soon.
Yeah. Okay. And all of these links that were mentioned here will be posted up when the recording is posted as well. We put them all into our Delicious account, so you have links to all of them there, and both of the presentations will be there. Maybe we'll add Laura's contact info to hers. And we hope that you'll join us next time, actually. Can you type in NCompass Live? When There we go. Next week, our NCompass Live is, this is our schedule of everything that we have coming up. And next week is our monthly Tech Talk with Michael Sowers. He does a monthly talk about anything new in technology-related things going on. But next week, as we mentioned earlier about Internet Librarian, he and I will be at Internet Librarian in Monterey, California. And we'll be broadcasting live from there, bringing in some people who are attending the conference to talk about what they saw there, what they did there, and everything. And because it's in California, we will be doing it at a special time. It will not be at 10 a.m. next week. It will be at 1:30 p.m. Central Time. So next week's NCompass Live, special time. When you go to the page, we even have it all in bright red, so hopefully you'll remember that. This
twice.
is so,
You have it on there
yes,
twice.
just in case. Just so we didn't have to get our friends and colleagues out there up at like 8 a.m., which is before conference even starts out there in California. We found it, and we've got a special location for us, and so it'll be at 1:30 special time next week, NCompass Live Tech Talk, see what was going on at Internet Librarian next week. So we'll hope you'll join us for that. Other than that, if there's nothing new has come in for questions, thank you very much, Kathryn and Laura. That was great.
Well, thank
info
you.
that
Thank you so much.
People definitely need. I hope some people get more applicants for everything.
I hope so.
Yeah, that's the idea. Okay. Well, thank you very much, everyone, and we will see you next week from California. Hopefully sunny California.
There you go.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.